Okay, so we're ready to rock and roll here. And our interface looks like this. It's going to change in just a minute as soon as we import some media in here. We're still stuck on all events. Let's go back to our iMovie library, and you see you can import media this way, or all kinds of ways. You could go up here and import media, and the shortcuts are good to know. This is Command I. Lots of ways to do stuff. We have an event associated with the library here. Always has to have a library open, but we're going to make our new one here. And you only really have to do this one time because it's going to be stored on your external drive, which you're going to be carrying with you. And remember, we don't like flash drives for doing this because it's just going to be too slow, and it starts out okay, but once you start compositing and putting titles and adding things to it, it's going to slow down to nothing and freeze up. That said, that's not forever. There's going to be new versions of these flash drives coming out. In fact, they already are. They're kind of pricey at this moment, but don't use flash drives to store and edit your projects, your libraries and all of that. Use an external drive at this point. If you're lucky enough to have an SSD drive, that's cool too. Okay, here we go. Let's make a new library. So how do we do that? You can go to File. And it says Open Library, we're going to make a new one. And we're going to call this, see, look, it's put iMovie Library 1 because it knows it already has one. We're going to call it, let's call it World View. Now, it already went to my external drive here, but you could navigate to it, and that's what you want to do. Just put it anywhere on there, and right now, we don't see any icon. Let's put this in here so we can see the whole thing. We're going to just save it, and it's going to create the icon that I showed you before. It's not there now, but it will in just a second. So I'm going to put save, and look over here. Now we have a new library, and look, a new event. But let's close out the libraries that we don't need, because remember, we want to save our processor power. We want to divert all power to the shields, Captain. No. We want to save all the power we can. So let's go ahead and close this one, right? There we go. And so now we have this default again and all the. Let me go back and open this hard drive that we just did, and look, there it is. Boom. Okay. So now it's created all of the kind of file structure that we need to begin. Okay, so if we click on this event right here, it wants you to import some media, and that's fine. We're going to do that two ways. We're going to look for archived media, like I showed you on the card, and then we're going to put the card in. I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. In fact, it's going to be the same card with those 3 clips. But look, before we do that, let's name our event here, and we're going to import some video in here. So let's call it video, right? So we just named it. It's different. So here we go. We can do this, or we can do the Command I. Let's just do the big giant button. But before we move on, let me just point out that we don't have a timeline yet. We do not. We have not made a project. We will, but we will not do it now. So there's no real need to do it. There's no real need not to do it. You can. In fact, as you move forward, you're going to have your projects and all already there. So, but we don't have it at this moment. So here we go. Let's import some media. Now, here's our interface, and I can, I'm on my external drive already because I think it remembered that it was there. So I have some things here. This is, if you recall, this is the card that we copied before. We archived it to here. But before we do that, I'm going to put in our card and watch what happens. I'm going to put it right in there, and here we go. Okay. Here it is. This is the Cam SD, but now it looks like a little camera. But it is the same thing. So if you do that, let's just do that, and let's navigate. Look, there's our 3 clips. So we could select, we could import all of these if we wanted to, or just one at a time. And we can also play them. But I'm just literally mousing over. I'm not depressing anything, and you can see the whole thing. But we can press the space bar to play them. Okay, so you can do that. There's no real way to take just portions of this. You have to take the whole clip. But look, it's telling you 43 seconds, 30 seconds, 1.9. And look up here. This is important. Hide imported. I would not do that. And finally, look, they must have listened to my last video when I complained that this was checked because it will hide your imported ones when you go back. And 2 of these are gone. You say, I know it was there. So I guess they must have listened to my complaints. But you would just pick one and do import selected. But let's don't do that. Let's go back to our Burley, which is our external drive. And you see, look, here's our, this is where we archived it. Let's see what that looks like. Look, it's the same. I can't get up there. Let's see if I can do this here. Yeah, there we go. Look, it's the same clips, but they look different, don't they? Yeah. So you look a little bit, they're the same exact thing. Okay, so that's what an archived card looks like. But we're going to do this. I have some from previous. This is my storage, my storage external drive. So I've got tons of them. I'm gonna see if I can move this over a little bit so we can see. I want to do this Million Man March because it has some that I already know. It's got, look, see what I was telling you, a lot of clips, So I have already kind of pre-marked what I want here, and I want to get clip 21, 72, and 42. So here we go. Let's just click on this, and let's take a look here. I'm trying to hurry because we don't want to let this drag on. So here, I'm going to play this. Oh, that's loud. We're going to have to do some editing on that. But that's one that I want, so I'm going to, let's see here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I didn't want that to happen. So let's go back, and I'm going to do Command-I, which is the shortcut. And we're going to go back to the Million Man March. So we got the first one. Now we want 72. I didn't really want it to close after that, but you know, you don't have a whole lot of control over iMovie as much as other editing programs. Okay, so let's do 42. That happens to be one that I know. Now I'm going to use the command click, which selects them, and I know 72 was another one, and I'm going to import those 2. And there we go. Okay, so look up here. This is our little clock telling us, our progress clock telling us that it's importing, and where? To our external drive, the Burley in this case. Now these are the little clips. These are, this is some video of this trip that these students went on to Washington for the 25th, I believe, anniversary of the Million Man March. So there we go. So there they are, and if you will notice, we've got some blue down here. Those are audio waveforms, and that shows you where things are loud and where they're not loud. Very good to know when you're making cuts. Okay, now this little wrench, our gear thing here, if you click that, you can reduce the size of your clips, which might not be bad, so we can kind of wrap them around in there. And by clicking or unclicking this box, watch what happens to the blue down there. I always like to have it, but you know, if you're trying to conserve space, there you go. So we have got some video in there, and you would continue to do that. This is just zooming in. In other words, it's kind of making them real small. So let's click out of here, and so this is telling us it's 12 seconds, and this is 3 minutes, and this is 3 minutes. So, you know, we zoom back out, you kind of get the idea that it's really just expanding And that would be excellent for when we make these selections. Okay, so let's just, and it would be the same for stills. Let's make another event. Let's do this quickly here. So we're going to make another event, and remember, this is for our project, which is our timeline, which is everything's going to drastically change here in a minute. But let's make a new event, which is option in. But we're going to call this one, it's defaulting to today's date, let's call it stills. Okay. So if we wanted to import some stills in there, we could the same way. Let's see, look, we're clicking on this event, and there we go. So let's get some stills in there real quickly. And here we go. We can just do it this way. And I just happen to know that I have some media here, some stills that I have in this folder. You could take the whole folder too, by the way. But let's just do selectively here. This is some image. Let's take that one and let's see. Maybe this one. There's some screenshots. We'll show you how that works there. So let's take this one. I'm using the command, this one, and this one. And let's just import those into, look, now we have another event. So watch out. Stills. That's exactly where we want them there. But is it undoable? No. No. You can take all these and put them in the video if you wanted to. So the next one that we're going to do is we're going to create a new, and remember, a new event. Call option in is the shortcut, but we're going to call this one audio. Oops, first we got to spell it. There we go. So now we have all of these kind of nicely. I'm not going to import any at this one. Well, let's do it. I think there's some audio in here. So let's go for the, let's see, the tutorials. Here's some audio, and I don't know. I'm just taking these at random. Let's just get to, I'm using the command click to select them non-contiguously. And there we go. And it went to the audio just because I created that. You could, it's not a deal breaker. You could literally, just double click this, and if you wanted to move it into these, that's the flexibility. So there we go. We have imported some media in there. The next thing we're going to do is make a timeline and start building.